Welcome to another episode of the Mostly Mike Show. In my local area, there's a section of multi-use trail which ATVs have made a gigantic mud hole, making it impossible to get through on a mountain bike without getting derailleur deep in the mud, which totally sucks. Today I'm going to try to fix it, or at least make a bypass around this mud hole. So I got my muck boots and some supplies. Let's get to it. A while back, I found some stones which were scarce in this section of woods for some reason, and tried to rock armor a small bypass trail through these ferns, which were on a very small section of high ground between this mud hole and a swampy area. Well, some dirt bike riders got the idea to take this route after making my first attempt at this repair, probably unknowing that someone worked really hard to make this mountain bikeable. This consequently turned it into this not-so-hot, muddy mess. The only thing that I believe I can do to make this trail great again is to remove everything that failed in my old attempt and start over with a fresh muddy canvas. I had installed some larger rocks and pieces of wood placed longitudinally, which turned out to be a horrible idea. I mean, what the f was I thinking? These all had to be picked out with a shovel. My repair plan on this section is to rock armor the muddy channel and give it a proper drainage at a single point instead of haphazardly soaking the entire area. At the far end of the bypass is a super muddy ditch that looks like it was dug many years ago but filled in with mud and rotten organic matter. The water looks to contain iron, which is common in this area, having a rich mining history. I plan to add a short piece of 6-inch drainage pipe, then cover it with wood billets to use as a makeshift bridge. I'm going to find the source of the water and give it one efficient way to get to lower ground by way of a small ditch. It won't need much, but we need to keep this flow path open so that the rest of this stretch can dry out. This way, when a dirt bike, or more importantly, a mountain bike, rides through, it won't rut across, which gives us these dreaded mud holes in the first place. They need proper drainage in order to avoid these. So, we dug a trench to establish a flow path for the water. It establishes one flow path instead of going across the area to make the terrain muddy. So I had a leftover 10-foot piece of 4-inch flexible drain pipe, which will be ideal to give this water a single path to the lower ATV mud hole. I will then make a small ditch from that mud hole to reroute the water to its ultimate destination, the creek. I'm going to wade in the shallow part of the creek to get my rocks off. The bottom, one handful at a time, which was oddly therapeutic. You really need to try this sometime. I used plastic buckets to carry these stones from the creek to the muddy section. Now this is going to take many, many buckets. After dumping a few buckets of stones, I could definitely see that they were displacing the mud nicely, which should make this bypass trail dry out eventually. I continued to carry bucket after bucket until I completely covered the pipe, and then the entire area. I continued to build the stones until they were a little higher than the sloppy section originally was, for settlement. The process took a few hours to do, but hopefully this fix should be el permanento. So this is the end of day one. We made a lot of progress. I laid some guidelines in for, so these people, hopefully when they go through this mud bog, know not to come up on here and smash my pipe. We dug, I don't know how many buckets of rock armoring, and I temporarily barricaded it, so hopefully nobody's gonna come through before it's actually dried out. But I'm hoping that the next time we come in this section, hopefully you're not gonna see any water between the rocks, but time will tell. I just hope that, adding this more efficient drainage is going to eliminate this muddy section. This was enough for day one. I temporarily barricaded this bypass so it will hopefully dry out unhindered by vehicles of any kind.
1 week later.
And I'm back. A week had gone by before I made it back out to work on this project. Alright, so here we are, day 2. And I did my little rope sling with the shovel trick. I got a 6-inch corrugated pipe that I bought at one of the local hardware stores. My handy rope in case we got to drag any big logs. A trenching shovel, And then of course the little bag with my camera gear, some water and whatever. And it looks like no one had ridden across, which was great. I started by doing some work on the ditch by using my narrow 5-inch trench shovel, which in my opinion works best for digging and cleaning out narrow ditches like I'm doing here. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a trench started here. I'm going to put the camera on the other side so you can see as we go up further how the water flow is going to increase. I'll put the Amazon link for the shovel in the description. Clicking this link really helps this channel improve future content with small commissions I earn even if you don't buy anything. In my store you can find almost anything I use in these videos. If you like something that's not in my store, just drop a comment below and I'll add it subsequently, providing you with the link in my reply. There was a ton of rotten wood, roots, and other organic matter layered in this ditch, which I removed the best I could. The muck was like sticky peanut butter, making the job really build character. I intentionally left those heavy roots on the end, which should hopefully circumvent smashing the end of the pipe from ATV riders. I put this short piece of 6-inch drainage pipe in the ditch and then cut some dead logs into billets for use as a bridge, as well as to protect the pipe from getting crushed. Should have enough wood here. I stumped some billets along the sides for added protection. I then pyramided some billets on top until the ditch was close to level. This should hopefully distribute the weight of a dirt bike over the top of the pipe to help mitigate getting a smashed pipe. No one likes a smashed pipe. You, me, nobody. I do plan to monitor the pipe to avoid obstructions, which seems to be paramount in maintaining proper drainage to any place where you do this sort of work. I have some other trail build videos, which I'll put the link to the playlist above and in the description below. Well, this trail looks ready to be tested on an actual mountain bike, so I'm going to pack out, get my bike, and return for a test run before it gets dark. Before that, though, let's take a second to gawk at the repairs. Okay, and I'm back just in time to try it out before it gets dark. Alright, I ran back home and got on the bike. Here I am, taking my maiden voyage across my newly armored trail. The first test ride was successful, and best of all, there's no mud on the tires. Well, at least not much. And it's definitely leaps and bounds better than it was before. Only time will tell if it'll hold up in the long term. I'll be sure to follow up in a future video if any problems should arise. I hope that this video helped give you some ideas for your trail remedy needs. If you would like to tell me about your trail messes or even other messes, type away in the comments below. I'm all ears. I hope that you got some entertainment out of this video watching me get my rocks off the bottom of the creek if nothing else. Could you do me a favor though and smash that thumbs up or down accordingly, which helps this video get shared to more people? If you're new here, please consider subscribing to stay in the loop for future uploads. Please make your Amazon purchases through the Mostly Mike Show Amazon store. It really helps. Thanks for watching this Mostly Mike Show presentation, and I'll see you next time. See, we've got a little bit of poison ivy growing here I'm going to have to address.